The Rancor's Brothel presents Impossible Landscapes. A Delta Green campaign by Dennis Detweiler. So Impossible Landscapes is on the table. I'm taking questions, connections, things people want to know. Happy to review things.
First question. What the f***?
No, that's not a question.
Valid.
I think the first thing to state
No, it is. What
No.
the f***?
followed by f*** you, Detweiler.
All right. Jeff's going to have to beep a shit ton out of the first 5 seconds of this.
What y'all think about, like, just in general, the...
Oh, no, it's a gorgeous
campaign.
game.
I
It's
love
an
it.
absolutely
Yeah.
gorgeous campaign. The scenario, campaign rather than scenario, really, right, is, it's incredible. Like, it's probably the most in-depth thing I've played since Masks, which we still have yet to finish.
No, for all that we say, I love Detweiler. Like,
Yeah,
his
no,
twisted
it's-
mind,
it's-
like, feed me all the time. Like,
It's become a joke saying Detweiler. It's really like, I love what you write. Thank you. Keep doing it. Like, it's an appreciative fuck you, not a I really hate you. You.
oh, yeah.
No, really. That's me.
never
That's
been
how
hate.
I feel. Yeah,
It's never been
It's
hate.
never real hatred. It's like
Maybe
Dude.
maybe dislike for
yeah. It's more of a
Or annoyance.
It's a short-lived damn it, you got me again type thing.
It's interesting you bring up Masks because I have read nothing that I have liked as much or as complex probably as Masks, because much like Masks, there's a desire to run this game. There's a feeling that it needs to be out there.
Right.
The King in Yellow is about ennui and it's about swirling down the toilet and you have no agency. But what's great about this game is that you feel like you're making choices, but those choices can always turn and just constantly bring you back to the narrative. Like, there's no real escape. The only way you win this game is by having the King in Yellow written. And
Yeah.
even then you don't win. Like,
You just enable the very thing that you just
Right.
tried to
but you
defeat.
feel guilty about that. You guys all felt guilty as soon as I started reading what J.C. Linz was writing, because you're like, we did this. That's great storytelling in a game that doesn't have a lot of agency.
So I was looking at, and this is just a random question, and I also have other things I want to talk about, but so J.C. Linz, is he Auteur X? Like what they would define, because I was trying to figure out time.
He can't be.
Yeah,
But he is the author.
but he can't be.
But he can't be. There are definitely some things in here that don't make sense. He can't be Auteur X, but he's definitely described as the author. So I don't know where
But Detweiler doesn't really...
Now, that book
Deal
is
with that.
400 and some pages long. It's entirely possible I missed a connection between them. Like, the first 55 or 60 pages of that book is just, here's the history of how the King in Yellow is connected to all. And it starts in, like, 1405.
Yeah.
Like, it's extensive. So I could miss it. It's always possible that J.C. Linz goes back in time and is Auteur X.
Because I know he went missing in, I had it in here, 1930s.
Yes.
So
he's a bank
theoretically,
robber.
1890s, he could have been...
There's no connection of J.C. Linz being Auteur X as far as I can recall. But I've probably butchered and made a dog's dinner of this game, I'm sure, because it is incredibly complex. If nothing else, the one thing that you guys should look at is the index. The index is fascinating in this game because not only is it like we dog on the Agent's Handbook index, this index is extensive. It's incredibly useful. And as Flynn is probably about to note...
Are those your notes?
No. There are two writers, one in blue pen and one in red pen, that follow throughout. I believe one is Marbus and one is Mosby, would be my guess. But throughout the book, if you look at their written annotations, if you go to the page, you will find a handwritten note that is detailed.
From a graphic design perspective, how do you do that, Lucas?
Let me see.
It's very challenging.
So I wanted to circle back in my, like, after it happened, I immediately was curious. do we have to hand him the bottle? Like,
yes.
That is
you have to hand him the bottle or you do not escape Carcosa.
Yeah, so for people at home that aren't looking at this book, it literally looks like somebody went in with a blue pen, circled a bunch of shit, and wrote different page numbers in where the other notes would be.
If you go there, you will find blue pen in the margins writing notes.
That's my presumption. Yeah, I mean, it's just
something else that I'd like to point out, and I'm gonna include Dave in here because I actually sent a screenshot right after I got the PDF to Dave and Jeff going, oh my God, I love this. Jeff goes, oh my God, I love this. Now, Dave made a very good point, much as Lucas would as being a graphic designer. Much of this book is challenging to read on purpose and would be difficult probably if you have like vision impairment or other issues. Yeah. But there are whole sections, especially when you start dealing with like the night world and stuff, where text is intentionally obscured. It is marked out. It is written on top of itself over and over and over again, both as the text or handwritten. Like, it's a work of art. It's fun to just look at this book. It really is.
Just for I just randomly opened up the page like 295 where they talk about basements. And like there's a whole two paragraphs about basements of typed text, and then written in the blue pen, it just says the basements connect to everyone. It's just like it's actually a random annotated note.
Yeah, no, and that's what it is the whole way through. Yeah. Like he made anagrams of nearly every thing, and I don't know if it's blue pen or red pen. I may not be saying red.
It's actually both. There's red and blue.
No. But I couldn't remember if red or blue's in there. But I think it's blue pen. It might be red pen, but I think it's blue pen. Like every single thing time a thing is written, it writes out the anagram of what it is.
Yeah.
No. So like,
but red is in here.
Shit that you don't even realize. So like, what's the name? I can't remember the name. The name of Art Life, the company that like licenses the building.
Yeah.
Art Life, like the lady who is in charge of Art Life that you can only meet if you like randomly visit Art Life, her name is an anagram for like go yourself or something. I don't remember what it is, but like every single thing in this is in an anagram. What's brilliant about this is everything dives deeper, which makes your players question everything. At no point am I like, it's not entirely true, but most of the time I'm not hand waving anything. I'm going, they asked a question about Castaigne, and I go, Jesus Christ, there are 75 annotations for different Castaignes. Which one is it, and what do I say? If anything, it's a failure on me in running it, not as a failure of the game to provide it.
Compared to other games that you have run, how challenging is this for the GM?
I think it's incredibly challenging.
Like the most challenging that you've dealt with?
Pretty close, honestly. Like I would put it on the level of Masks because you have to keep all the balls in the air. Literally, this notebook started out as me writing all this shit down, and I personally, it's a failing on me, not on the game. I couldn't keep up with it. I had to start making shit up, and I had to start taking notes of the shit I made up to make it logical. There's whole swaths that you guys have enjoyed, which I appreciate. You've given Detwiller for. It's actually my writing, but I've appreciated that has been credited as his.
That happens with any game that the majority of us who have ran games on this show, though, are that way. Like somebody grabs onto something and they're like, all right, let's make a whole episode out of this. Mm-hmm. And it's nothing that's in the book. It's a paragraph, a sentence, and we just have to make it up as we go.
But like, look up Castaigne in the index. Like there are so many mentions. Like you have to be incredibly careful. You guys bit me 2 or 3 times through this game, calling me on my bullshit. Of if it were D&D or something, or maybe a small DG scenario, I could make something up and you guys would buy it. But like there are so many references throughout this game, making it so self-referential makes it feel as if it is all connected. But it's so hard because there are times I've misspoke on this podcast trying to give you a clue, and you guys have called me out going, you're making that up, and you're absolutely right.
I mean, there's over 30, probably 40 pages of where the name Castaigne comes up, whether it's one name or another.
But you only have the opportunity to meet 2 Castaignes.
Right. No, you're looking at
Henri and
Hildred
is the first one that's listed, and Hildred is the second. There's Isabel, Lou, Robert W., which I'm assuming is a Chambers reference. Oh no, sorry, that is Robert Chambers. Castaigne. It's in the middle of all the Castaignes for some reason. There's Castaigne family, Augustus.
We didn't
Chastain / Castaigne, Gabriel, Luis, Michael. It goes on and on.
No. If you flip to the first 60 pages, it's just here's how the King in Yellow.
It was like a big introductory.
Yeah. Yeah.
it was.
No, here's what happens in the 1400s. Here's what happened in 1925. Here's what happens in 1946. Here's what happens in 1989.
No, I was going to say, just flipping through this, you can see that whoever is writing in red pen and whoever is writing in blue pen you can tell that the thought process is a little different between each character. Like the blue pen is sort of existential, or what's the word I'm looking for? Well, all right. So like the agents gathered at the bar after the funeral of a friend and associate. That's what's typed. And next to that in blue pen it's difficult to say which is the illusion. Whereas in the section down here where it talks about killing Darabandi, which apparently is a thing, it says, has the usual sand cost for violence against a brutal murder, but he'll eventually show up again. And then in red pen, it just says the children had to die. It's part of the play. It's just like one is like, sorry.
Or you can imagine it's the same person.
Yeah, one's like, here's the thing, sorry about you. The other one's like, here's the thing, kind of nicer.
I mean, it's just so fascinating to go through this. Like, I legitimately would encourage people, even if they're never going to run this, to just read it. There are so many.
I'm planning on getting a copy. Yeah.
Like, I feel like he wrote this and went through it and just made notes, and instead of like retyping the notes, he wrote them in like as these annotations, and just made it part of the graphic design and made it work, which is again gorgeous and beautiful and interesting and different. Has anyone in this room ever, other than me, ever read Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell? Susanna Clark, I believe, is the author of that book. Read that book. It's incredibly intriguing the way that it's written. The book itself is massive, and there are annotations and notes on every single page as if she annotated it, but it's actually written that way. And it makes the book almost doubly long, where all the annotations dive into the background of a character or what the situation is, or dives deeper into the history of the era of what you're looking at and what you're reading. Like, I'm getting that vibe from this as well.
Well, I mean, the thing is that there's sections with every character. If you look at the character stat blocks, there's a thing called passing strange, where every single character has something strange about them to just give you something else. Like Asa Darabandi happens to have been like born on the same day that that something happened, or like Thomas Wright happens to this, or you know what I mean?
I remember at some point I was starting to like connect dates and shit. And like
dates are very important in this.
No, but they do all connect in some way.
Yeah.
The thought is that once you step foot into the McAllister building, you're just swirling down the toilet.
But we couldn't get into the McAllister building.
Well, part of that is my choice. So one of the interesting and unique things about this is, so this game actually started, I want to say he put something out on his Patreon like 6 years ago, give or take, 7 years ago.
Probably how long ago we played Night Floors.
Well, yeah, no, it wasn't long after Night Floors. Yeah. He kicked out a 30-page version of this.
30 pages?
Well, because the thing is that he's like, okay, well, it was just basically the Dorchester house. Hey, here's a fun game. People like Night Floors. What if you go to an old folks home, to a sanitarium, and the sanitarium is it's a DG sanitarium, and the agents don't know that. And unfortunately, a bunch of DG agents are telling war stories, and they open a portal to Carcosa. Like, that was his pressy. That was his idea. And it kept growing. And over the years, you would see 50 pages come out. You would see 100 pages come out. And it turned into that monstrosity that we played over the last 60 episodes or whatever.
Jesus. Man, I have so many questions. I don't know where to start.
All right, let's back up a little bit. You wanted to talk about demons. Let's talk about demons.
No, so there are a few things. I would say regrets. I think regrets are the thing that are easiest for me to pull up. Things that you guys didn't do that I wish you had or had done.
I'm interested in those too.
There are. Troy just slipped past the page a second ago. Every single demon has a character. Mm-hmm. You can summon. How many fucking demons are in that? Like 90 or some.
Well, let's look in the
72, isn't it?
If you look in this one, it includes a couple more.
I don't remember what it is, but whatever it is, like Troy is in the vicinity of it in the book. Every single demon has a person, and you can use the summoning circle and use the fake website that they set up to follow it, and you can summon any demon.
Huh. Okay.
Well, 72.
That's what I thought.
And what do they do?
They do all different things. Like whichever one you summon does different things. Like that was the thing. I gave Troy a vision of one. So the other thing, you all, so big regrets. Let me just get those out of the way and then you can ask questions about those. We didn't do enough about demons. Okay, I'm going to throw that out there. You can ask questions about that. You all gain superpowers. You don't necessarily know it. I think part of that's my fault. But coming out of the Dorchester house, you all gained individual, weird, bizarre superpowers. I hinted at them.
Might have been useful to know.
Yeah.
No. You all did experience them at least twice. The only person who really used any of them was Flynn. You don't know it, but you got it.
Okay, then what do we do?
Daniel is completely obscured and no one knows who the he is.
Oh,
Which is why his picture was blurred.
That's great.
Lucas, yours was probably the most underused because I had a hard time working it in. Every time you find things to read, every time you interact with things, you find bits of the play. I had trouble working that in exactly, but
I recall it a couple times.
Yeah,
sure,
no, but like there's a scene where right after you come awake, you read a receipt that is not all what it says, but it was a line out of the play.
Okay.
You guys didn't like it. I didn't like that I randomly rolled.
Superpower, but
you begin to notice extras though, and that's one thing I did play up. You notice extras. Everyone in the play is an extra.
Gotcha.
You notice the same people dressed as different things. Blah blah blah. Troy had a superpower that he used twice. He was probably the second most used next to Flynn. You have the ability, just kind of thinking about the demons, to summon them.
Oh, so that person. Or Stephen
That's
Curson.
how you found person. You also had
I'm gonna be honest, I thought that was UGM bullshit.
Nope.
Like these ass just need some answers.
Nope.
That's interesting.
I got the same thing.
Yeah.
No. And the other one was you saw the woman in the Corvette, the realtor. You saw her in your mind. If you go back and listen to the episode right after you come out, I described them all to you in detail. You just think I'm with you, which is kind of the hard part of this game too. You constantly think I'm with you.
Kind of like that aspect though.
If you you also had the Walmart greeter. You may have had more than Flynn then. You had the opportunity to meet the Walmart greeter outside the hotel in New York, who would have given you clues as well.
So those are all demons?
Yeah, those are all demons of the 72. The realtor can give you a key to anywhere you want to go. The Walmart greeter gave you something. I don't remember what it was. And then obviously you met person outside the library.
Dallin was 4S.
Oh yeah, 100% he was. You guys.
Oh, the middle name. Yeah.
Flynn, you can touch mirrors and go places.
which you did kind of do.
Which you did do.
Yeah.
There's a
that's
moment.
not a superpower. That's awful. That was bad.
What would my power have been useful for? Like,
It's one of the reasons why you didn't get arrested by the cops on several occasions.
Got it. Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Like all of them come with like a good thing. And
I
a
did
bad
get
thing.
arrested at one
Is
point.
there like a random chart or what is it?
Yes. If you go to, I'd have to see the book to know where it is, but yes, there is a random chart.
That's interesting.
Whist was a demon.
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure almost everybody we met was a demon. We just didn't suss it out.
Almost everyone you met could have been a demon. Not everyone was.
So what happened to Marbus/Barbus after we shot him to death?
That was
We
one of the
didn't shoot him to
first
death.
major awesome decisions. I had to start getting creative after that. That was probably one of the ones where you guys affected the narrative the most, because Marbus/Barbus is supposed to keep, like the white rabbit, dragging you kind of down the rabbit hole or keep
That was
providing you
really
things.
early in the game. We up.
Yeah, no. Really in the game, you up, and I'm like, okay, I got to come up with some creative solutions here. That's probably one of the big stumbling blocks. Other things that you didn't do. Sorry, I got like one or two more I want to go over.
Yeah.
You never went to the Samagina house, which is unfortunate.
Samagina?
Yes.
Oh, the nurse.
Yeah.
Head nurse.
Esther Samagina.
Oh,
We-
yeah,
we-
we did
we
have
talked
all
about
those
it.
clues
But we
about
talked
like
about
her
it.
family.
I
talked about
wanted
all
you to
kinds of
go
things.
so
and we talked
bad.
about going.
So bad, because that's one of my favorite parts of the game that we didn't touch.
Oh no. What happens?
What? Go ahead.
There was a Stephen S. person or Pearson.
Yeah.
It's really
And a
close.
Stephen K. person?
Yeah.
Or Curson? Stephen Curson?
The Samagina house. Remember how like it was weird because like her husband was coming to work at different times, and her son, they couldn't decide whether or not he was actually at school.
Yeah.
Yes, we were
So-
going to investigate that 100%.
Her
Yeah.
son and her husband are both dead.
Okay.
She's wearing a creepy cloak made of skin and pretending to be all three of them.
Oh my God.
So she invites you into the house as one of the three of them. If you ask for one of the others, she goes upstairs, tries to pretend to be their voice, then sets the damn house on fire.
Oh shit!
So it's a good thing we didn't go there.
using the turpentine from the painter from Night Floors.
Nice.
Jesus Christ.
No. The Samagina house is cool because her son like freaks out. There's
Well,
some
it sounds like a
recordings.
fucking kill box, but sure. It's cool.
Yeah, no, but it's cool as shit. Like, no. Her son is like an artist and he's all freaked out and like he has all kinds of visions and stuff of Carcosa that are really, really cool. Her husband is like a dead body marinating in their master bathtub and it's cool. The Samagina house is really cool.
Who was the sanitarium director really? Because like we kept asking about his name and then
Dallin?
Dallin. Yeah. Who was he really?
Dallin is a character. He's also the demon 4S.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dallin also doesn't have a home address.
Why did some of
doesn't exist.
Why did some of the demons make themselves known and the other ones didn't?
You guys are supposed to be able to summon them. The idea is that you go to the website, you read the little snippet and go, oh, it'd be really cool to like do this, and then you summon them, and then you get an opportunity to interact.
So
any
was
of us
like
were, like,
so was
ready
like the
to
human
summon
world
demons.
demons just like kind of not aware of what they were?
Correct.
Okay.
That's why if
that's
you-
what I was thinking.
If you pressure Dallin's like everybody in the Dorchester house is connected to the Dorchester house and is fucking crazy. But like the ones who are normal, if you follow any of the employees home, they all do like really weird. Like Dallin doesn't have a home. So like he drives away, like drives in a circle and then comes back. Like if you tried to follow him home, he doesn't go home.
Oh my God.
There's
We kind of thought about that, and we didn't do it.
Yeah.
The nurse I think it's the nurse at the front desk. She kidnaps children if you follow her.
Oh.
She kidnaps children and like
Is she also a demon?
No, I don't think so. I don't think anyone except for 4S. I don't. Or sorry, Dallin.
Wasn't there a thing about a bunch of missing children? Or that was something from a long time ago. Never mind.
That was Darabandi.
Yeah.
Darabandi's murdering children.
Yes.
Because the king told him to.
Yeah. Any other regrets? What else didn't we?
So this game is designed to play Night Floors first.
Yeah.
Right, which we did.
Well, the Night Floors in this game is drastically larger and more expansive.
Oh.
It's more connected. So one of the things that I realized is I'm just going to skip the Night Floors chapter and start you guys on chapter 2, which is what we did.
Oh, so Night Floors is actually written in this book.
Yeah. It's like the first 75 pages of the 400-page book.
Gotcha.
Sure is.
There are greater connections. A regret of mine is I should have started seeding you guys with knowledge you wouldn't necessarily have had.
That was going to be my question.
Sooner.
Because it's a more vast experience in this book that might have helped us garner the clues that we got.
But the
or
way
understand the clues we got.
The way that this game is supposed to be played, though, is really you should play... Because remember, it's supposed to be played in 1995. You should play Night Floors. Then you're supposed to walk away from Impossible Landscapes and play a bunch of other shit, then come back.
Yeah.
And I think that that's kind of the idea that's going to pop up with God's Teeth as well, that there is a time lapse. And the idea is that you play an intro scenario, you get the players used to each other in the game, you walk away, do some other then you call them back to it. And you constantly are seeding bits of the greater narrative throughout. So if I were recommending this to anybody, I would say don't show them the Impossible Landscapes book, run Night Floors, run a few other things, keep advancing the time frame, then bring them as grizzled agents back, but constantly be seeding the, Lemagaton and the demons and keep seeding that into your games as options. I think that's what they're going to do with God's Teeth in a way.
Was there ever a night manager?
Yeah, you met him like 15 times. It's Henri. I mean, he's not really the night manager. He keeps saying somebody else is the night manager, but Henri's the old guy you meet on the 4th floor of the 3 floors of it. Yep. He's the one who handed Daniel the invitation to Craig, and he's the one when you walk into the random smoking lounge. That's him too.
That's interesting.
I'm constantly pulling NPCs and just plopping them in. Something I probably should have done earlier, but using these NPCs, the deeper you got, I think made it feel more connected.
What was the water world that
Oh, that was just a big old you. Like
it's another kill box.
Right. But who was that guy on the other side of the satire? Or
the king.
Oh, we're talking to the king. The whole time?
When you went through the window.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
he was
because
kind of obscured. Right?
You're
We couldn't
talking
see
to
who
the
he
king
was.
the whole
Well, right,
time.
because we seen him pick up the phone and answer as if he was answering us.
So there's no way for him to ever get there.
I mean, he could swim around in there, but it's basically he's in a hotel brothel bin weird water world.
Right.
Yeah.
He needs to get out. But the thing is it's called the dream window. So as long as somebody's dreaming, the window is open.
Yeah.
Once he smacked Troy's legs, you killed him.
Yeah.
Which was a great moment.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we would never would have known. I never would have known that was what was going to happen.
No, but it was a great, like, it's up there. Is
Had someone been able to fall back asleep, well, I mean, there's no
wouldn't have
time,
mattered.
right?
No, but that
you don't have
he did
time.
do that.
Drowning.
Yeah.
Somebody did do that, and we
Well, I
just
was going
couldn't
to choke
find
you
him.
out, but you're selfish.
He went back to sleep, and then we didn't see him floating anywhere.
There are a couple of really, really cool moments that you guys did throughout the game. That's one of them. The you pulled on Marbus was great. That had a fun shootout that you guys didn't expect. That was awesome. Spencer left, but bringing Thomas Wright into the game.
I mean, I said this, I think, off mic, but I would say just completely like the emotional gravity of the end. Like, I feel like that made this game.
Like, why wasn't she able to, like, you literally can't get her to leave at all.
No.
Like, that's the game.
She
it's
has
written that way.
She has to pass you the note.
Okay.
See, time is
It's a continuous loop.
Yeah,
is the way I'm understanding it.
time
Right.
is
So
time is continuous. She has to be there to give you the note.
That's why I don't understand. Like, why are we here? You're just going to start it all over again.
So,
Because
yeah,
you're the ones who get the play written. You facilitate that.
so
But we're also trying to
King and
stop it
Yellow
from being
doesn't
written.
exist,
So
right?
that's what
is
doesn't make
there
sense.
any room at all
the point.
within that last act for any sort of agency to change things?
Not a lot. It literally says review how your players have played the game. See, the other thing that I should reveal is that you all have a stat called corruption that you don't necessarily know you have. Each time you with something, you get corruption. So theoretically, probably none of you, by Detwiller's rules, should have escaped. You all had way more corruption than you were supposed to.
Sure.
But no, there is only you can escape via the three methods that were given. You all kind of pursued it in different directions, and I felt like it was a good flow. You all kind of split the party, and I just wanted to go with it. But there are the three methods. You can get trapped, you can find your own bottle, or guys can have the ending that you two had.
What happens if you find your own bottle?
I'd have to look at it again. I think that there's some agency about, like, you get sent back to Earth, but you get sent back to Earth with the knowledge that you're doing the thing that the king has always wanted you to do, and there's a whole, like...
So there's no way to over the king. The king is unstoppable.
Correct.
There-
So who was the guy?
It's a force.
Who
You
was-
can't-
Yeah.
Who was the guy in the white mask that startled Frankie?
the king?
I thought you said he was. You said the king was in a golden mask. The guy I was looking at.
If I did, then I fuck.
I'm pretty sure you said the guy I was looking at was an all white mask.
Yeah, it'd be the man.
So Frankie saw the king just hanging out?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
From
Said
any
the stranger
Well, the
is
Phantom of
king,
Truth.
and there's the stranger in the play is wearing
the pallid
pallid
mask.
mask.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right. Correct. He is the pallid mask.
So it is ideally. It is. It is the
Something
same
else that you
character,
guys
but it
would have
isn't.
liked. I did a lot of prep work for this that we didn't end up using, which is unfortunate. I listened to all of Night Floors and wrote down all the useful quotes that I wanted to with you guys with, and never used any of them. Because there are points where if you go to, like, the Dorchester house and you see the Night Floors, you can hear yourself talking to each other across time and space. Like, another thing that I regret, but you guys wouldn't have gotten it anyway, so it didn't matter. You know where the laundry was falling down in the Hotel Broadalbin?
Yeah.
If you look up, you see Esther Samagina, like, dropping down clothes. She's making clothes. So if you go into her house, there's, like, a whole place where she's making, like, costumes and stuff. Everything is interrelated. To the point that Adam, because you said pallid mask, you remind me of this. Again, going back to anagrams. Adam, Mel, Malokok, Pedro Agia, Enrique Vidal, and Kim Plasad, the ones I gave you at the beginning. The first three are your character names from the first game.
Well, I knew that. We figured that out kind of.
Kim
early on.
Plasad, I don't know if you ever figured it out
don't
quite
think
like
we
that.
have.
No one ever mentioned it because I didn't know your character names because you
one
were
of
all
them-
code names.
Oh, that's right. We did use code names.
I couldn't
but
remember. I didn't remember my character.
Because-
I mean, I had a
with.
suspicion, but
I knew
it was never confirmed.
Flynn, you were Kim. You took the place of Kim Plasad, which is Pallid Mask. That's what.
Okay.
Gotcha.
But yeah, all of those were your character names. You were essentially following yourselves through the rabbit hole,
Right.
Yeah.
which you knew, but I don't know that you necessarily knew that those were your character names.
No.
What? Shit, I just had a question now. I forgot what it was.
So was it the king on the other end of the sat phone every time?
Yes, I actually think I that up, but it was kind of fun. I don't know that 616 should have worked from the hotel, but I really liked the way it went.
No, it was fun.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was always nice.
So then was it Winston? Was he like
Winston's just me.
Yeah.
Like Winston
He's just
is
an agent.
like Winston is the handler. Flynn gave me the name, but Winston is the type of handler, the cigarette smoking ass on the other end of the phone.
Right.
You guys just leaned into it, and I just used him as a thing. But Winston is the only aspect of the program in its entirety. Everything else is the king.
So what was
Everything.
what was the point of finding the other bottle for Wild?
There's no point because, like, I'm not going to play the game after the play. After it strikes midnight, in my opinion, the game is over. See, Daniel's character still technically lost in the night world. He could, if he has the bottle, he could give it to Wild, and Wild could get him out of the night world back to Earth.
I had the bottle. I had both
That's
of them.
why I tried getting it from you.
I don't care. At this point, I don't care about Daniel's story. Daniel has escaped Midnight. I got 2 players in Midnight. That's the game that I want to play at that point. You know what I mean? You 3 escaped, kind of. You're stuck in 1995 and are up because
Yeah, that's something that I knew we weren't going to explore at that point, but that was fascinating to me.
100%.
Like what that would mean.
I mean, that was really Frankie had a sense of urgency to get Wild his bottle just because how
I
much
missed
Wild
an
helped
ending
him
that I
out.
wanted to give too. I did miss an ending that I would have liked to have given. One of you can be Sunshine.
Sunshine.
I really wanted to do that to Troy. I forgot about that until just now. The drooling patient in the Dorchester house, that can be one of you.
Oh yeah.
So what's with the dude that gave us all the info that had the notebook in the asylum?
That's Whist. That's
He's a demon.
Mr. Wild.
He's just a demon.
Well, I mean, he's Mr. Wild, but yeah, no, he knows everything. He's the repairer of reputations.
Okay.
A lot of people in the Dorchester house have their like daytime cycle and then their nighttime cycle. To throw it out there, almost everything. I don't know where the typed stuff went. I thought I threw it on the table, but maybe I
haven't
did. I
seen
don't know
it.
where. It
Oh,
is.
I have it.
Everything that's typed, I think, was that I made up. So like the interview and the notes Daniel passed and all that stuff is just that I made up.
Like all the character backgrounds and everything. Nice.
Thanks. Some of the stuff for the previous agents was pulled from the book, but I wrote in some extra stuff. The entire ceremony bringing you guys back to life was also me.
I was gonna ask.
Yeah, that had to be. Yeah. So the
Is there-
what were you gonna ask?
I was
Sorry,
gonna
I don't
ask
wanna-
how many kill boxes we avoided after that first one.
Yeah, I have questions about the kill box as well.
No. I don't think that's the only real like kill box. That's the you're f***ed once you walk in. There's some other yous, but I don't think you ever.
Is there a
walked in
natural like? I feel like we were just led there. Like those first characters to me were doomed.
Yeah. We also just kind of agreed for the most part to walk in there.
I mean, yeah, like we shouldn't have walked in, but then like there was the question of like, no, okay, now is this just us running from DG?
Right.
Like we didn't know the scope of it.
Because that was the
at
thing.
point.
Like we were just trying to stay off the
I-
grid, and that was the place to go.
I think the big thing that you guys missed early on, which led to that, which is why I wrote a whole thing that made you feel like narratively you were on the right path, is that you have to realize early on that DG has sent you there sort of as sacrificial lambs, and that a lot of what you've learned is a lie. And I think there's a lot of confusion on, is Marbus Barbus with the program? Is Winston with the program? You guys didn't really, I think, pick up early on that you're being manipulated on such a large scale level by 2 totally different parties.
yeah,
Like one of the things that Jeff kept saying while he was editing is like, how many times do you have to throw it in their damn face that there are 2 different things here? And it never really registered with you guys. So I think that that kill box was a surprise, because I don't think until that whole scene that I crafted, you really realized that you were kind of at the beck and call of 2 different things. Like the whole mission is a up. You never should be there. Flynn, you up by calling Winston.
yeah. Oh
Because
yeah.
you inform the
100%.
program, I'm off grid. And then you inform them that you're dealing with the king in yellow, which means that you go to what's it called? With the shotguns.
Static protocol.
Yeah, it's static protocol
Yeah.
at that point.
Yeah.
You die.
Yeah.
That's why that's a kill box.
So
So who sent us originally?
it was
You
it was
did. It's the
Barbus.
scribe. It's the scribe. The scribe sends you the invitation.
Yeah, DG has nothing to do with it until I contacted Winston.
Correct. Because Winston
I apologize
Because that's the thing.
to everyone at the table.
I tore down
But the thing is, if someone would have called DG at some point.
I was very proud of this, but that note up there that says need proof, ask
that
about
you?
Whitwer. Yeah.
That was brilliant.
All the notes from Whist are like, I'm like, these guys aren't asking enough questions. They're not digging. They still think they're operating for the program. What I need for the handler, who's been incredibly friendly to you as far as you know.
Yeah, because I was so green. My character was so green.
To lose his fucking mind on you.
Yeah.
So that's why I wrote that. I said, need proof, ask about Whitwer. Because the thing is, Whitwer's missing. They don't know what happened to him. He was sent in to look for something. At this point, you call him in. He's like, dude, what are you doing in Boston? What's going on? And then you say something about Whitwer. He's like, why is this guy who has nothing to do with this missing agent asking me about the missing agent? That's why he loses his on you.
Yeah.
You guys just didn't pick it up prior to the kill box. And I think the kill box really frustrated you guys. So that's one of the reasons why I wrote this whole pseudo religious thing.
So, and that's where I didn't like, because I think we were going with the assumption that we were going to get some answers, because I think it really was we mentioned Whitwer, but had no idea why anything was
and I think that's the thing. You guys were good little agents following orders, and that's what happens when you follow orders with static protocol. You get shot in the face.
Yeah. So I guess how do you navigate around that? Like what does it look like to? Well, I guess if you just never contacted DG, you never contact DG.
That's the thing. I don't think we would have known to go
it's
off
that moment
grid,
that
to go off
made
grid
the call.
until we got the notion from the program that we should probably go off grid if we don't want to get shot.
Somebody would have called the program at some point.
Right.
But yeah, once you call the program enacts static protocol. The program is like, fuck you.
But there's no reason for us to ever think not to.
Well, actually, I think it was the fact that you played up my greenness and the fact that I had a contact Winston.
Yeah. No,
so I have a guy I'm friendly with.
Right.
I think we're on the level.
Exactly.
I have questions about this dude. I just want to make sure. Right.
Yeah, that's why I said there's no reason not to contact the program.
But honestly, I disagree. I feel like if we think Barbas, to the extent that we think Barbas is the program, we're going to keep going, right? We're going to keep pushing.
I don't know that we ever all unanimously agreed that he was part of it, though.
Yeah.
We thought, this is strange.
Yep.
Oh, also, it's a demon name. Let's contact somebody that might be able to get us the info.
Maybe that was it's been so long at this point. Maybe that was part of the.
But I mean, that's also the fun thing about this game, though, is that the kill box exists for a reason. And it's a teaching point. Detwiller says you all wake up at a what the is their name? That group.
Denny's.
No, not Denny's. Before
Encounter
Denny's.
group.
Yeah, the encounter group. The encounter group is where you all suddenly wake up.
So Detwiller has an out where
correct
you get kill box, but you still know
correct
in your different agents.
Correct. You wake up, you get handed all your shit. You get told, oh, that was weird, and you wake up from it.
That's interesting. Because I kind of thought that was you.
The whole symbolism and the words and the gong and everything else, what I'm trying to tie you guys to is that you were very lost at the game at that point.
Yeah.
And I want you to realize you haven't gotten the note from Abby yet. So the only way out is through. I wanted to tell you that without telling you that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Keep going, keep looking, keep digging. You know what I mean? It's great. It's a great game.
It really is.
Well, I wanted to go back to who sent us. You said we sent us, but we didn't send us. We got a invitation to a birthday party.
Correct. You got a DG invitation that was written on the scribe that was put there by Marbus in his house that was designed, I think, by Ambrose at the behest of the king. All of this stuff, all of this stuff gets set in motion, but it only gets set in motion chronologically, ultimately, if you guys provide Linz with his bottle to get him to write the king in yellow.
Well, yeah.
Tangentially, you might be right. I might have up a few things there, but it is kind of you guys who kind of set all this in motion, which is sort of the whole ennui of the situation.
Which is okay. So going back to the bomb thing, I had it 50-50 in my mind. The bomb is probably not going to work, but what if it does? Because and this is, I don't know that this is an issue that I have with it in terms of player agency, but I feel like there are opportunities where certain things that the players do within that world that aren't a part of the, I'm going to say program, not to mean DG, but like it's like a computer simulation, right?
Sure.
Like these things keep happening and resetting and happening and resetting.
Sure.
Right. So the person who has the bomb and gives it to us blows up, right? So part of me thought if we weren't there to take that bomb, he blows up, right?
Sure.
And so that's the program completing itself, is him blowing up.
Yeah.
But now we have the bomb. So what if we have now kind of created this new strand in this program?
No, I don't think it's a bad thought. I think,
But I also realize it's Detwiller. There's a chance that it's nothing.
Yeah. Once Ambrose said several times it's not going to work. I'm like, okay, well, it's not.
But my thought is, of course, it's not going to work. It never has before because it's never gotten there, right? Because if
I think
no one has come along to take the bomb from him and he is just blown up again and again through eternity, of course, it's never worked.
No, and
until it works.
No, I think that's great. I think that what's great about this game is ultimately the hard part about the King in Yellow is the King in Yellow is about ennui, and it's about a lack of choice. It's about swirling down the toilet. You're all swirling down the toilet, but at every moment all the way through the game, you feel like you can do something. And that's great.
And I appreciate that as much as had it blown up and like reset everything and Abby ends up with Thomas, right? Like I respect both equally.
It wants you to keep struggling for that good ending, even though you can't find it. And you have to be confronted with that.
Yeah.
Esther.
I was just wondering if you told them about Daniel Bot.
The books Daniel bought.
You buy books?
I want the Megaton and this.
Oh, yeah.
whatever.
Jeff was like, you guys are all f***ing idiots. He keeps giving you a damn website. Why don't you look up the website?
Oh, I looked at the website so often.
He realized it says like Delta Green at the bottom, right?
I mean, I figured it out that it was I
loved him going on a giant duck walk in the middle of nowhere.
That was the problem is I downplayed the website when I looked it up because I know I did. So
Yeah, there's some weird stuff on there that tipped me off that it was their stuff. There's something at the top that
no, you can see.
resonates, which is great.
No, it's fantastic. When I saw the website, demonweb101.com, I was like, oh, this is
Whatever
dope.
you can do or dream you can do, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it.
I mean, because once I started looking through it, I was like, oh, well, this is all the same information that's in the book.
Yeah, no, and that's kind of the thought. But
What impossible landscapes wait beyond the cracked corners of this false world?
yeah, it
it's
says
great.
Impossible Landscapes or something like.
They said the name of the thing.
But no, much like Sense of Sleight of Handman, which I mean, you guys, same thing. Like, there's nothing you can do in Sense of Sleight of Handman either.
Yeah,
But it's a great experience. Like, it's a lot of fun.
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like we had agency there at the end.
Not really. You're cokeheads who get thrown into the dreamlands, and if you do escape, you get transplanted into somebody from the 1920s.
I felt like
who can then
I
start
had
mastering Nyarlathotep.
more agency in that game than I did in this one.
Really,
I do.
really.
Yeah.
I'm
Because
surprised.
at the end, like I remember dragging the boss guy out to a grave, curb stomping him, dumping him in.
Absolutely.
Like that was the most satisfying ending of a game I've ever had.
Yeah, absolutely it was.
Like I'm still
Fair enough.
We
like
kidnapped the
partially engorged.
We kidnapped
from
the
it. It's been
guy,
like 6
tortured
years.
him, tried to get information, broke his neck, and threw him in a grave.
Yeah. I
that's
mean,
what
fair.
happened.
That's fair. That's fair enough. I
Much
mean, you are in
different than
totally
this.
different bodies and are no longer who you used to be. But I
Well,
mean, I guess
sure. You know.
wins a win.
Well,
We still had our
I'm a
wits
different
about us.
body than my second body.
Fact.
Yeah. That I don't know. Of the two games, I honestly had a very, very similar experience. I will be 100% honest. There were times where I was so frustrated with this game.
Oh, for
I
sure.
believe it.
So frustrated with this game.
I think it's because of the vast amount of clues you get, and there's too many avenues
And just
to
the
go
feeling of helplessness and like
Yes.
there was
Yes.
like that something I wasn't getting but I realized like that is a part of the experience. Now it was not an enjoyable part of that experience, but it was a necessary part of that experience at the end.
The problem I had is I always thought I was going to overthink something. Like I was going to put too much thought into it, and it was going to be wasting my time. So I was
think
just
you
like,
can in this game.
Well,
you can't overthink
I think
anything.
you have to, and that's the
yes, yeah.
I
And
think
was like-
you overthink
I was like, I'm going to
everything.
overthink something, and it's going to be a waste of time.
I see
So
what you mean.
I would be interested to see how other people have approached this game, and see
I would
how
love
this-
to listen to like other playthroughs and because like I know there are some who have like because I've looked at like Impossible Landscapes or seen it pop up and it'll be like 6 or 7 episodes and like they finish it. I'm like, how do you finish it in that
Even
many
if they're
sessions?
4-hour episodes, that doesn't make sense.
No. I
like-
mean,
Yeah.
but that's also like it's also a thing that you have to realize with me running games. I love to toss the line out there and let you grab the worm.
Yeah.
No, drag
and
it out.
run 200 yards in the wrong
Absolutely.
direction,
Absolutely.
only for me to yank you clear back across the lake. That's me. So, like I said, a Ross Payton is not going to run that game the same way I do.
Oh yeah, he could clear that game in 3-4 hour sessions.
Yeah,
right?
no, and so some people do. I mean, if you look at since we're on RPPR and talking about Sense of Sleight of Handman, they play Sense of Sleight of Handman in like 12 hours. Like that's me. I love just dragging players in and coming up with unique situations and weird things because you get some really, really great moments. And like I said, that's on me. If you guys are getting that frustrated, I need to adjust the narration. It's in there in DG for sure in Impossible Landscapes, but when you guys were frustrated, I kept trying to find other ways to sink your teeth into something else and to move along.
Yeah. And I felt like you did a good job doing that. Like, let it, like, I don't know, like maybe you read me, but like there were times I obviously was frustrated.
No, but to go back to your point, I kind of agree that with Sense, like it did feel like we had more agency. It did feel like our choices were leading somewhere, whether or not it was more on rails than we really thought.
It's pretty on rails. Like somebody like
there was a point where Sense really like the last act. I felt like we were on it.
Well, yeah,
basically
up to that
all
point,
on
but I never
rails.
felt frustrated with a lack of options or choices or clues. And not that we had a lack of clues, obviously, with this, but like we did. I think we were overthinking things. We had an abundance of clues, and we didn't really know which thread.
I think for me the biggest frustration and almost the breaking point was Hotel Broadleman. Like
interesting.
Like realizing because in my head there was something I was missing. Like we weren't connecting something
because we couldn't find it.
But then it just happened to us.
Right.
Like so.
I think the biggest issue.
So I guess mechanically, what triggers Hotel Broadleman?
So, Troy got on a duck walk there.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. The thing that I would say is that one of the most impactful things, because it was Troy, and I'm going to throw it out there because it's one of the most genius things I've seen on this podcast so far. Getting Marbus killed, you kind of killed your white rabbit. If you're supposed to be Alice in Wonderland going down the rabbit hole,
so we had no one to follow.
You killed your white rabbit a little bit. Like the thing is that you're really supposed to like sneak into his house and figure out what's going on, and he's still acting with agency around you, and you can see Citri in his window, which doesn't make sense because she's in Vegas, and like there's more there. Like it's genius. Like in my opinion, top 5, maybe top 3 RPG plays ever on this podcast. I love that moment. It's chef's kiss, but at the same time, it completely kind of derails some of what pulls you in. Because the whole thing is you're like, this is my damn DG contact, and he's running around like a fucking buffoon.
I think we felt that after we killed him because we had no idea where to go after that. There were like 2 sessions where we were like, what do we do now?
Yeah.
And you fixed that by like obviously creating an narrative to make it work, but at the same time we weren't sure where to grasp because, as you said, like our guide is gone.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think that is something that I probably shouldn't have necessarily let happen, but I loved it. Like that is such a good DG moment. There are so many times where folks don't play this game like Delta Green agents. That is such a brilliant Delta Green move. I'm gonna call the fire department. I'm gonna call the police. Like I'm like, holy fuck, because this unstable guy who doesn't want anyone in his fucking house is gonna lose his damn mind to protect the books and the inside. And like he just went ape. Which was awesome.
That's why I didn't think of stealthing into his house a viable option, because I'm like, well, this guy's he's an ex-cop and all these other things, and he's unhinged. I'm like, there's no way going into his house is a smart move. Like one of us is going to die. I mean, one of us did die. It was him. Sorry.
Yeah, the Whisper Labyrinth is really, and it's much harder in a lot of ways than I actually played it. Like, you're basically just supposed to around in the Hotel Brothel bin and keep going crazy over and over and over and over again. Like, it's very complicated to get there.
So willing ourselves through the darkness wasn't actually a thing.
You guys were making I was playing with it because it was great. I enjoyed it, but no,
because that was kind of a sense.
That's the way I thought about it,
right?
Kinda, yeah. That's the way I kept thinking about it. I was like, all right, we can't find her. Every time we ask a question, we get fucked. So instead of asking a question, I made a statement.
Yeah, no, that's.
I find the bottle. I find my way. I find my friends.
Nothing to do with it. Literally nothing.
So okay, character death.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like there are opportunities because I'm thinking about at least trying night floors with a group I play with, like, remotely, and just seeing if they would be interested in. Character death seems like an issue in this game because I feel like if you play it by the book, like, you just get stuck places. Like, you get fucked.
I think depending on when and where, it is challenging. I think the thing is if you're going to kill players, kill them early. You also have to keep in mind, if you're going to run night floors and then you run a series, you're going to have more NPCs to pull from.
Yeah.
Because the NPC who then died playing not night floors, but maybe I don't know, something else could reappear. Like, I think the thing is if you really want to sell Impossible Landscapes, you run night floors and you keep really cool notes all the way through and you play like 2 or 3 other missions over the years, then you bring them to the Dorchester house. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The other thing is you can pick up NPCs. Thomas Wright is meant to be an NPC for the players. To pick up. Like,
and I guess like there's so much, like, anyone who has had mentioned could just end up in the Whisper Labyrinth, right? Like, if they've had any connection to the sign.
It's very weird. Like the Whisper Labyrinth is the thing that I find hardest to run. Because like it's very, very weird. So like according rules as written, agents searching for their own soul bottles follow the rules on page 343. Those searching for the bottle of J.C. Lynn's follow different rules. First, agents must clearly state what they're searching for. Listen for specifics. I'm searching for J.C. Lynn's bottle, or I'm searching for the bottle of the author. If the agents state this, the agent with the highest corruption, that's only one of you out of the 5, is permitted a search roll once per hour.
But if they're not the one asking for it,
Bingo.
fuck them.
Yep.
Does that mean I had the highest corruption?
No,
Because I'm the one who found it?
Not at all.
So did you soften that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Who had the highest corruption now? Now I'm curious.
I'll look at the spreadsheet in a second. I think Troy.
And what is that based on? What is the corruption based on, actually?
I'll get there in a second. Okay. Success indicates the agents heard something in the maze but avoided an encounter. A critical success indicates they find the bottle.
Oh, wow. That is rough.
I can't remember if I rolled a crit or not.
A failure indicates they come across a manifestation, which is crazy shit. A fumble indicates they find themselves back in the hotel brothel bin. Without this stated clarity of purpose, the agents wander the maze for 1d8 hours, encountering 1 or 2 manifestations, but never even come close to finding the bottle. After 8 hours of such fruitless searching, they are spat back out of the maze in the basement of the hotel brothel bin. So the player with the highest corruption needs to critically success a search to find his bottle.
I think you're right to play with that system a little bit, because I feel like that could be just endlessly frustrating.
For us,
Correct.
For us who are recording a show, it's
but
more
even for
critical
people sitting down to play a game, I feel like that would be
It's one of the only things that I really
Yeah.
don't like. Now, locating your own bottle is a trying task. Agents explore the Whisper Labyrinth for 8 hours. The handler rolls. Now, I didn't do this, which would have helped finding your own bottle, but none of you really asked. The handler rolls 1d100 and adds the agent's corruption rating to the result. But you need 100 or more to find your own soul bottle. Your corruption should really never be over like 8 to 10. So.
Okay, tell us about corruption.
So corruption is basically any time you deal. I'll try and read it directly from the book just to actually not paraphrase him, but read him. Corruption is basically like I started f***ing with mythosy shit, and it's f***ing with my schwa.
We kind of all did, so.
Because the power of the King in Yellow is governed by imagination belief, it transcends sanity points. An additional statistic is needed. Agents who actively investigate the King in Yellow suffer these effects more dramatically. Agents who pull back, avoid, destroy evidence, or refuse to disclose information about it are less affected. A corruption rating is 0 to 10. Each agent begins with +1 corruption due to adaptation to violence and helplessness. Blah, blah, blah. Agent with +1 corruption for each art. You started with the highest, your first character, Flynn, started with the highest corruption because of some of your stats. But like you begin to gain corruption for various things. If you, there are corruption thresholds, you're not able to go above certain areas. So like, what is it? I can't remember, but like if you finish Night Floors, you can only have a corruption of like 2 or 3. If you finish the Dorchester House, you can go up to like 5. If you finish Proto Broadband, you can go up to 8. I actually over adjusted all of yours because you all were ending up at like 12 to 14. And I thought that was a lot of fun. But like anytime you kind of you read the King in Yellow, your corruption goes up. Anytime you encounter a thing, you do the thing, you gain corruption.
Yeah,
basically.
we did the thing a lot.
I feel like the only thing I did was read The King in Yellow.
If you ask people of certain things, you gain corruption. If you know, but like literally almost everything in the bookshop gives you corruption.
Oh.
Like, I mean, like anytime weird happens, there's a chance for corruption. I'm trying to look for one specifically that you guys in fact encountered. I'll keep looking. What other questions?
Is there a discernible logic to how the world of the king works and just how things are so connected? Because like I recognize like in terms of motifs, like that's why I feel like this is
Translating the postcard gives you one corruption, for example.
Oh, no. Like this is a masterpiece in terms of just the interconnectedness. But like think about the glass ceiling in the hotel that collapses baby teeth, and it's like, okay, connection to Asa Darabont, who
correct,
like, you know, strangled babies, and that like, is there a logic to the king and his like the web he weaves, such that like all these things in this world are based around like these few people and
correct,
like their horrid acts?
I mean, I think that's the thing is it's a web that sprawls outward. It's a worm Ouroboros. It's eating itself. So the same names come up over and over and over. I would imagine every single thing is referential. And if it's not referential, you guys either didn't get it or I didn't convey it appropriately. Like everything is referential. There are times that I would give you guys a clue and then I would like be reading for 3 or 4 weeks later and go, oh shit, I should have told them this. You know what I mean? Well, I mean, it's just like we talked about off air, but like Spencer, it never really came up. But Spencer is a character. Thomas Wright went to school at the Dorchester House, and at a dance at the Dorchester House, a foreign man in purple clothing, which this would be like 20 years after Asa Darabont goes missing, a man named Asa encourages a young Thomas to dance with a girl who would become his wife.
That blows my mind. That's so good.
And that's the thing. I ceded that to Spencer, and I said, if they mention the name Asa, you should talk about a guy in a purple shirt who, oh yeah, I remember a foreigner named Asa.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't think you remembered that.
He did, because he was like, he messaged me at one point. He said, should I bring it up here? And I said, nah, I don't think that's quite enough. I think it was a good idea to, like, he was like, that's close, but it's not enough. And I'm like, I agree. Like, so much of this is self-referential, and it's like, you guys maybe weren't interested in it or weren't encouraged by it. You know what I mean? Mark Rourke is a character from Night Floors, I think. You can meet Mark Rourke on the Night Floors. He might actually, I don't know if you met him in the first game or not, but like you met some guys in the smoking lounge, and I think you can meet Mark Rourke in like the smoking lounge of Night Floors. So yeah, all these characters just keep popping back up. And like I said, that's kind of the fun of it, is you're introduced to characters that you feel like you should know but don't, or vice versa. It's such a good game.
There's no way to get Abby out.
No. Mm-mm. Which I mean is not all that different from Sense of Sleight of Hand, man. Like in many of other Detweiler stuff, like this, it's playing an experience.
Yeah.
And it's such a good experience to play.
Yes, it is.
Like if you look at it on the face, oh, we're going to play a King in Yellow and we're never going to get any answer. Like we've played those on the podcast before. Tatters of the King is one of those. Fucking Dockside Dogs is one of those.
Yeah.
Like that's King in Yellow. Like that's what you get in the experience. We're going to try and struggle against a thing we can't possibly win against, and we're going to lose. The fun ones are the ones that give you that right.
I'm sorry. I killed an Elder God and we won Tatters of the King. Thank you very much.
You think you won.
I have a feeling, and I don't know if that's the way Tatters of the King went, but that's the way Lucas's Tatters of the King went.
No, I mean, you cast a spell and things happened.
But yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is that ultimately you're fighting against powers beyond comprehension. You're not going to win.
Yeah.
But you had a hell of a fun time over the last year playing it. You know what I mean? But yeah, every little thing is connected. Every little thing is connected. I also really wish I would have brought up the fact that you have the fucking script in your back pocket, Troy. Somebody handed you a script for the NBC play or whatever the shit. when you were running from Static Protocol, you were given the script to the f***ing NBC play. I forget what it's called.
Her Grey Song.
Her Grey Song. Yeah, you have the script for Her Grey Song. I never really figured out how to work it back in.
Oh, yeah. Which we found out was just a version of the King in Yellow.
Correct. Yep. It's just bastardizations of the King in Yellow.
Yeah.
There's a YouTube video thing as well that I never worked in either, but same thing.
Oh, like they produced for this?
I don't. I mean, we can Google it. I don't think.
Oh, like in game, there's something on YouTube.
Correct. Yeah, I don't know if it actually exists or not.
That would be dope.
My biggest disappointment is that you guys never figured out where I got my name from. Not a big
Reginald?
reveal, but yeah. You ever heard of Elton John? It's his birth name.
Reginald
Dwight.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess
My plan was for every character that I lost from that point forward, I was going to pick another artist name who doesn't use their birth name and just use that name. But
That's not a bad idea.
I like it.
Yeah, I feel like that's the other thing I should do. I should kill people more so that there are more characters to pull from.
I really honestly thought we were going to. As soon as our characters died so early, I was like, okay, this is just going to be a meat grinder and it'll be a passing off of the torch.
Yeah.
And you know.
I think you guys played a little bit more clever. Daniel probably should have died to Mr. Ed.
Yeah, I thought he had.
I went back and
a
looked
couple
at.
times I thought he should.
No. Daniel did come close. I think Daniel should have died to Mr. Ed, but I couldn't decide how I wanted to play it. And I really wanted to include some more clues to push you guys on. So that's why he had the whole going and checking out Whitwer and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, he did die in the window too, so.
So Whitwer's forever trapped too. There's no getting him out.
You're never supposed to meet Whitwer, as far as I know. That meeting of Whitwer was some I wrote.
Oh. What's the
I have to look. I the dialogue I definitely wrote. The background story I added to try and get you stuff. I'd have to look whether or not you can meet Whitwer or not. Honestly,
what's the eye stuff and the Patsu and that
the Patsu is like the magic of impossible landscapes. Dr. Friend is trying to extract it from you so that he can get to Carcosa.
Okay.
It's like a weird magic stuff. You guys got hella lucky that none of you died to the damn clown.
Oh yeah.
That's like almost instant kill if I hit. That's like a 45% roll. I kept rolling and missing and rolling and missing. I'm like, God damn it. Like one or two of you should have died there for sure.
I had a bug.
You did
eat
eat a bug. I did. Well, I choked on one.
I feel like it's one of my favorite lines of this thing that I said. I ate a bug.
But yeah, no, good. I mean, it's just I've loved it. It's been incredible. It's been so much fun.
I might actually go to a game shop and pick up a copy and just start reading through it and thinking about Night Floors because I really want to run it.
It's fun. It's like I highly encourage anyone, whether you run it or not, if you're just interested in the game and want to read. Like there are dozens and dozens of connections that I didn't make, and I think that is what would make it so much fun. You would run this, and your players would have ultimately the same story, but an unbelievably different experience.
Oh, yeah, depending on where they went,
choices and what they want to do, and like I mean, you know. And like I said, I think it'd also be interesting to see like all the stuff that like I kind of included because again, ultimately, this is a callback to Night Floors. And since Night Floors was such a key episode for us, it was a key like thing because people were like, oh yeah, I like this DG thing. Let's keep doing it. Like I wanted to bring back the individuals who actually played Night Floors.
Yeah, it was like the second or third thing we ever ran for the show.
I like that they were the ones who made it out. That was good.
Yeah, no, and that was completely unintentional. Like theoretically, like it's fascinating that you and Spencer, who were not the agents from 1995, are now stuck in the playing the agents from 1995.
Well, and I thought he wasn't going to make it out. I'm like, that'd be an interesting reversal because he was the only character to make it out of Night Floors.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, yeah.
I was trying to get him eaten by the King in Yellow, but he was definitely doing the books thing, which the books thing is definitely an escape. Okay. So final corruption scores. Gideon 10, Adrian 10, Frankie 4, Reggie 12. And I also kept all your old characters too. So Sam Grimm was 5, Deacon was 0, Roderick was 3, and Inez was 3. Because I kept your old characters. Because that would ultimately be the thing to do if one of you died. I would literally give you the stats from your old character and then just to play your old character reappearing. I have a really bad habit of once characters get really close to the end, I like them to see the ending. So like
That's how
I don't think that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
like I don't want to if, say, for example, if Flynn had eaten like 19 insanity in the Gallery of Shades, that would have felt really cheap to me.
What was up the stairs? What was he going after?
If he disappears, you guys lose him. Like,
but like, what if we had followed him up the stairs? Was there anything?
No. There's nothing defined. It's just that he is convinced that there is an answer in the art, and he just is obsessed with it.
What ticked him to be the one for that? It was just
random roll.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys all rolled luck rolls, and you guys were all busy about whether or not you passed or failed. He was the one who rolled the highest. But yeah, basically he's losing D4 sand every time he makes a D100 roll.
Damn.
Yeah, there's some nasty bits in there. Some stuff that you guys dodge. I'd have to think if there's anything else. But yeah, no, it's a fantastic game. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm glad to be playing something else that maybe is less stressful and maybe easier.
I'm sure it's a hell of a lot.
Well, for now, you're going to take a nice little break.
Well, yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. But yeah, Flynn, you have to let me know if you do play Night Floors. Like, I just think Night Floors is such a good...
I think it's good because I feel like it'll be a good gauge of whether the players would want to go through that journey.
Mm-hmm. Oh, 1,000%.
Because I think it... Like, I've never played it, but I've listened to versions of it. And I feel like it is a good primer for, like... Yeah. Are you okay with not understanding shit and not really being in control of things? If so,
I'd be very interested to see the difference.
Oh, in terms of Night Floors?
Yeah.
It's more in depth, and like you meet more of the characters. So like you the McAllister building, obviously you get all the Asa Darabandi shit, so you know Asa Darabandi, you get the Lundine shit, so you know that sooner.
I just felt when we played Night Floors, and I mean, this could have just been more of...
Oh, it's because it's from a bajillion years ago and it's like 5 pages.
But me being a green, RPGer, I felt so frustrated playing that because I felt like we had nothing to do. Like,
no, it's the same way. Yeah.
Like there was no choice. Like we kept, I don't know. I just felt like there was no way to win that thing or no way to, because like we never found Abby. And I don't know if there is even a way to find Abby.
No, I don't think so.
But again, why it's such a good primer for puzzle.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Can you deal with that sort of like, there's no happy ending, there's no real ending.
Right.
Everything is ambiguous. Any answer you think you have
is wrong.
You can hold loosely at
I mean,
best.
here you get on Abby's wall are napkins, diagrams of the scribe, and here's a map of Hotel Broadalbin of how to get to JC Linz's bottle.
That's so funny.
And like, here's a Night Floors map. Yeah, and Mark Rourke is the one talking to her when the agents pop up. Like, there's a person seal. There is a flight ticket for Michael Whitwer to Boston
on the flight that we were trapped on in the room.
I kind of referred that, but you got to remember, Night Floors is in 1995.
Oh,
so
you're
this
right.
is a United flight for 2015, June 6, 2015.
You can find that?
Yeah, it's on her wall.
Oh my God.
When you guys were searching through the stuff and you kind of searched one time, I rolled randomly on what you found. You could have found Michael Whitwer's plane ticket.
That's wild.
Yeah, no, everything is just so fucking connected. Like I said, the paint thinner from the artist is exactly what Esther Samagina, not that you would ever know this, uses to set her house on fire.
Should we worry about Det Willer? Should we check in on him?
He's like incredibly has a grip on how unhealthy his mind is. Like,
To be fair, with the Trevelino Mall ambush, you have a chance, if you get there early enough, to roll and see them setting up. You have a chance to, you could obviously contact Ava Lundine ahead of time and find out that the place is
that's another, we never followed that.
Yeah, no, she's got like her dad's masks and on the wall.
Oh my God.
Like, yeah, no, she's like,
is she helpful or?
Like a little bit. She talks about her brother disappearing. Oh, you never got to the fountain. The fountain in the middle where they're shooting you from is a yellow sign.
Like the design of the fountain.
Yeah. The fountain, if you look at it from above, it's the yellow sign.
So did Lundine himself, like, is Ava corrupted, or was that something that
it doesn't specify that she is. Both her brother and her father were. It doesn't specify she is. But she's like, oh yeah, no, I took inspiration from my dad's work. And she like points to masks as to why she made the Trevelino Mall.
That's wild.
The golden child is also your last ditch chance to get out of there. The sort of child
The
in
dancing
the mask,
kid that you saw
that's like,
multiple times.
Hey, don't go in there.
It was dancing.
Pew,
It did
pew.
not sing. Oh, I think did it.
Yeah, no, it went like with the hey, look up there, pew pew, better run. Like it did a whole like shadow miming thing.
Oh, I think I do remember. I didn't think we had time
we were
to. I
picking
thought
up
it was
the-
like
You
they
had-
did that and
You
then.
had
when
an
I saw it.
action, and your action was to try and drag somebody down to the ground.
You're right.
If you turn and run, you probably won't survive because there are 2 other agents coming in to
Yeah.
shoot anybody that runs. Once you walk in the mall, you're f***ed. If you show up early enough to see them setting up, or you stake the place out, you see them set up, then you kind of have a chance. Like really, it's if you're not being clever agents or aren't getting a little lucky, you're boned.
But if we hadn't have even shown up there, would we have been continued to be pursued?
Yes. Mhm. That kill team can show up anywhere and anywhere I want. But the Delta Green Zip team is only prepared for a kill box there. So if they tried to capture you wherever else, it would just be agents popping in with flashbangs and hoping for the best.
What about if we went to White Plains?
White Plains was nothing. You guys were making a lot more out of it than it was.
I thought so.
Okay.
Yeah. It was just another.
It was just it's just a thing.
Clue.
It's just it's that one there's nothing to go there. I would have had to have made something up.
The office building that was gunned down where Frankie ended up. What the was that?
I'm trying to remember where I got that from. I mean, that's in the book. Oh, so here's the thing. Your agents, 1995, Night Floors, you get touched by the king. You're now on his radar. But Night Floors is like, you just kind of touch the thing, right? Once you go into Dorchester House, now the hook is synced in. So once that happens, it is inevitable that you will either die or you have to go back in via Hotel Brothel Bin. So what's interesting is you have Night Floors, which is huge. You have, so there are exuents in this game, I guess I should say. There's middle points in between the games, right? So you have Night Floors, which is the introduction. Dorchester House, which is called A Volume of Secret Faces, really hooks you in. Then you have, what's the chapter called? I wrote the episodes in, so anyone who is reading it would know which part we were in. What's it called? I don't remember. It's after A Volume of Secret Faces. It's not The Missing Room. We did that, though.
Was that Boxer Hotel?
Yeah, it's this bit. Like a Map Made of Skin. Like a Map Made of Skin is only like 15 pages. And that's, you've come out of the Dorchester House. And at this point, you know what's going on. You have to go back in. Abby's given you the note. So Like a Map Made of Skin is just a keep escalating it until it seems appropriate, then force them to the Hotel Brothel Bin.
Okay.
So the guys running by you in the middle of the street with gas masks on, escalating it. The police having your images on TV, escalating it.
Mm-hmm.
Being randomly kidnapped and waking up in a setup, escalating it.
Yeah.
Like
so it just gives you ideas on what to do to keep driving them toward
correct
the hotel.
And a lot of times with Daniel, since he was popping in and out, I had to find a reason to hook him back in.
Yeah.
And so I'm finding weird things that Daniel specifically could encounter. So like the whole like going to a garage and all this shit, I'm pretty sure I made all that up, but like the puppets and everything else were on brand enough to drive it home.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Was it her blood on the wall?
I think so, yes. I'd have to go back and look. But I do think it was. But again, it's just, again, the idea is that with that, you guys all know Abby, so it was dragging you in. For new players, it would be like a callback to 3 or 4 game sessions ago, you know what I mean? Which would be a lot of fun. But yeah, essentially, once A Volume of Secret Faces, you fight the paper dragon and the clown and all that shit. It's just a fast track all the way straight to Carcosa and the palace. Like, it's your last ditch opportunity to investigate anything. And that's what's kind of fun. If you go back to some of the places, they've changed from the time you last saw them, which is kind of neat. But for the most part, it's just run straight on to Carcosa and finish the game. It's really majorly played in 2 places. Volume of Secret Faces, which is Dorchester House, and Night Floors. Like, if you think about that, Like a Map Made of Skin starts on page... I'm just curious to see how much of the book it actually is. There's your secret powers. We could go over that if you want. Like a Map Made of Skin starts on page 2 257, 258. The page we played tonight, the final act of the play is written on page 334. So really and the book's only 360 pages long. So the first 240 pages is Night Floors, Volume of Secret Faces, The Missing Room, and The Bookshop. So really 3/4 of the book is doing that. So you got to think we skipped 100 pages worth of stuff. But that was by intention because, like I said, I thought it was cool to bring back the guys who actually played Night Floors.
It's dope. That's great.
Any last comments before we wrap it up?
No, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, that was a good time.
If anyone has any questions or comments,
I will message you. I probably will be.
No, it's so good. It's so good. Yeah, super excited about it. It was a lot of fun. It's going to be sad to put it on the shelf, but I think it's been a really fun playthrough. I think it's been relatively successful, minus a few stumbling blocks here and there, which is always going to happen. So
yeah.
Thanks for playing, guys.
Hopefully listeners enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed playing it.
Yeah.
And we'll be back with something here soon.
Yeah, I'm not sure what'll follow this. There might be a buffer, but Berlin will be returning, so keep your ears out.
Keep your ears and ass open.
The Rancor's Brothel.
It's the only way to end a Rancor's Brothel episode. Thank you.
Our title track and additional musical arrangements were provided by friend of the podcast, Ian Shannon. Find more of his work at sleepfortheweary.com. Like what you heard? Check out more episodes online at rancorsbrothel.com or the Rancor's Brothel on Facebook. You can also interact with other listeners at the Fans of the Rancor's Brothel Facebook page. Want to contact us? Reach out to @rancors_brothel on Twitter or via email at therancorsbrothel@gmail.com. Most of all, keep circulating the tapes. Much love, everyone.